Hello, this is Erna and Steve Morain. We're here to reminisce a little bit about our year as district governor. At one of the PDG lunches, we asked the PDGs to reminisce about their year, maybe their theme, what their emphasis was, and their most memorable moment. So we're going to share with you some of our most memorable moments. There are many, but we cannot tell all of them. So I'm starting out with the Stein Barn in West Des Moines, where I was inducted almost a year ago. Tom Narek inducted me as district governor. I think it was 100 degrees, and even with that heat, we had so many of you in attendance to witness it and to be part of that celebration. In some ways it seems like a really long time ago, and in some ways it seems almost like yesterday, because this year has gone by so quickly. Like most PDGs, I started out wanting to support the international president Mark Maloney in his emphases and also adding a couple of mine. We all know that the emphasis and his theme was Rotary Connects the World. And what a perfect match that was for Steve and me. Steve being from Jefferson, Iowa, me being from Amsterdam, the Netherlands. We could not have asked for anything better.
One other Rotary connection that really stands out to me is that you remember that my dad, Fred Morain, was the district governor in 1970-71 in the same territory, the same district as you served, which makes you and Dad the first father-in-law, daughter-in-law pair that certainly we've had in this district, and I would guess that there are very few where father-in-law, daughter-in-law combinations in any of the districts. So it's really been fun watching, for me, to watch you as you went through the year and then think back about Dad and Mom's adventures as they went through the same process of visiting the clubs and trying to keep everything headed in the right direction. When we started the year, you felt we needed to be more inclusive of all Rotarians at the club level in district activities. Talk a little bit about what your goals were then and how well you think we've achieved them.
Thank you, Steve, for bringing that up. I started out with a goal to create a board that had some new life in it. I know in the past it has been a wonderful, wonderful board, but it was made up, or always has been made up, of past district governors. We really wanted to see if we could bring some different angles to the board by adding maybe a younger or different Rotarian. So we talked to the board and were able to add 3 non-past district governors to the board. Thanks to my husband Steve, we created a bylaw change, which was also approved by all the clubs at the annual meeting. So going forward, we will always have 3 non-PDGs on the board, as well as all those PDGs that bring so much history and so much knowledge to the board. I also really encourage the use of social media and digital communication to keep everybody connected. We used Facebook a lot, and the reason for using it was to see if we could create some enthusiasm among the clubs to see what we could do and what others are doing. We also encourage some Zoom meetings so people that are on committees could be involved even at the district level or an international level without having to drive 2 or 3 hours for a 20-minute meeting. And that has been very effective. Mm-hmm. I would like to say that I had the foresight that we really needed this digital communication. I did not, but I did know that it was the future and we had to look at it in order to increase our participation from the clubs at the district level. So another one of my emphases was the food insecurity, and again, little did we know how it would turn out. All the clubs have done wonderful, wonderful things in their own community and around the world. They have been making a big, big difference, and I want to thank every Rotarian for that. With COVID, we ended up really having a very, very strong need in our own communities for food. And with the help of all of you, we were able to secure at least 400,000 meals for those who really, without their doing, came into hard times and needed that extra help. So I want to really, really thank you for that.
And all that really within a month's time. They've been working, all of you had been working throughout the year with your local food pantries, but it was incredible to me, the generosity and the speed with which people responded to the call for food, and that many meals being able to provide it in that short a time was really truly outstanding.
Well, thank you, Steve. Maybe you can add and see what were some of the other highlights, because I have so many of them and sometimes I forget some, so maybe you can address a couple of them.
Well, that's right. There really it was an incredible year. But just a few of the highlights that I remember. First, the group led by Peggy Geiger, who led the effort to put the polio sculpture at Blank Children's Hospital. If you haven't seen it, you really need to. It's an incredibly talented artist, sculptor, David Beal, who designed the full size sculpture of a Rotarian and administering the drops to one young child on his lap and two who are standing next to him.
And Igor made a wonderful movie of that.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Thanks, Igor. There was also something that I would guess very, very few districts and very few governors get the opportunity to participate in, and that was the fact that we were successful in moving the boundary line between our district and 5610, the district to the northwest of us, so that Denison, at their request, could join our district. And we had to dig down into some of the fine print in the catacombs at Rotary International because nobody really knew how to do it. But we managed to get it done, and certainly with the full understanding and compliance of the district which Denison left. They felt that it made more sense for Denison to be a part of us because the schools close to Denison, there's just so much commonality of the clubs and the communities on our side of the line. So it made a lot of sense to have Denison join us, and we're delighted to have him there. And we had the opportunity to be there at the groundbreaking, I guess, or the airlifting, whatever, of John Ockenfeld's plans for his small plane trip around the world to raise money for polio eradication and awareness. Unfortunately, John had to delay the takeoff for a few months, but that's still in the works. And who else gets the opportunity to to be a participant in something like that? So those are just a few of the ones that really stand out to me.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you, Steve, for highlighting Denison. Wow, what an accomplishment to bring another club from another district into ours. And again, we did not seek that. They were asking for it simply because it made a lot more sense. And I want to thank the district governor, Erna Winter, very much for her cooperation in all of this, because it was an easy transition, wonderful to work with. So thank you for that. Steve, you mentioned the polio sculpture, and I want to come back a little bit to polio. Rotary International's emphasis is to eradicate polio around the world, and John Ockenfeld from District 6000 and his friend Peter Tehan decided to fly around the world to raise awareness for polio. the donations would be to help eradicate polio around the world. So we had a wonderful celebration and kickoff in Cedar Rapids at the airport, which was very, very well attended. We had a traveling exhibit of the iron lung that was brought here by Suzanne and Mark from Chicago. She is my classmate and we have been in contact frequently, and they have a traveling iron lung exhibit that other districts may be able to use at their events. It was a wonderful event in Cedar Rapids at the airport, attended by so many, and this was right before COVID hit. We had so many people there, and John and Peter were all excited for their trip. Unfortunately, very soon after, it became very clear that it was not going to happen, and they had to postpone their trip around the world. I know that there are plans in the making to do it next year, and I'm sure there will be updates from John about that. So good luck, John and Peter. We look forward to see what's happening there with your trip around the world. Steve?
Well, I was also really proud of what you've done with the increased usage of Facebook and social media, and the digital monthly RD6000 news. Some of those posts you've had, and some of the items have had several thousand hits and several hundred likes on some of them. That just increased the visibility of the district and the ability of us to communicate so much. And I think that's been one of the really great things that you got done this year.
Well, thank you, Steve, for that compliment. It's been really a pleasure working with Igor, Sean, and you, putting together this RD6000 news. Igor made sure that all the Women in Rotary series, all the women there were highlighted. It was very, very well produced and very well received. We had a lot of people commenting on it, so that was well done. Igor has also been major in putting the newsletter together and publishing it. So thank you, Igor, for all of that. Sean's monthly hosting of the podcast brought some really great interviews with a diverse group of speakers from all different capabilities and backgrounds. So I loved hearing from Sean's brother, who always said that Sean had a great face for radio. Well, I don't know. I think Sean has a great face for many things. So thank you to Sean for his wonderful, wonderful work with the past podcast. Last but not least, I could not have done it without the amazing writing skills of my husband, Steve. He can whip up story after we talk it through, and it probably goes back to his days at the newspaper in Jefferson with his dad, where he started at a very young age. So thank you all for making it possible to have this news out in a timely manner.
Well, we probably should say it hasn't all been a perfect year. We're really disappointed that you had to cancel your RD6000 festival, scheduled for Prairie Meadows at the end of the year, end of June. We really did have a great program planned, and I think people really would have enjoyed coming to it. Should highlight, I guess, the fact that we're still going to try to do the Rotary game at some point in the future. But we had great plans for one representative from each club coming to the festival and competing for several $1,000s that his or her club could have taken back for whatever project they wanted to. Frank Hager from your club really was in charge of that and did such a great job of planning it, and now for not. But hopefully we can do that at RILA or at some youth activity, or maybe one of the district governors in the future will want to pick that up and try to do it then. I think we're the only district in the Rotary world that has its own game, and hopefully we'll get to play it sometime with the entire district. But other than that, I think it's been a great year.
It has been a great year, wonderful, wonderful experience. Even though I'm disappointed about the cancellation of the event, I really look forward to the virtual gavel passing, because we will have an event scheduled on June 26th from 4:30 to 5:30. Yes, it's happy hour, and yes, cocktails can be served. We hope you will all join us and help us set a record, an all Rotary record, for the most gavels passed from the presidents of 2019 to the presidents of 2020 simultaneously. It's going to be fun. We'll have some great speakers planned. We have some remarks by some wonderful people. So please tune in, look for information, and help us celebrate this year. Again, thank you so much, everybody, for your help in making this an unbelievable year. We look forward to see you all in the future, hopefully in person. If not, we'll see you at one of the Zoom meetings.
And just one more thing, we should both give a lift off for
Right.
Steve and Leslie Dakin. You two are going to have a great year, I'm sure. You're going to have your challenges just like we did, but I'm sure when you finish up, you'll feel you've done a great job and that you'll have taken the district to new heights. So best of luck to both of you.